Are you ready?
A Shot of Wrestling, episode 195. And wait, no.
Wait till get a shot, boy. Is that the message you got? We about to go live. Are you ready to rock? So take a shot. Oh, so take a shot. Oh, yeah. I'm a street breaker. I'm a heartbreaker. This is my door. I'm Ramon Razor. Rick Flair, Nature Boy, about to seek and destroy. It's an SOW. Let me hear you make noise. Take a shot, boy. Is that the message you got? We about to go live. Are you ready to rock? So take a shot.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 195 of A Shot of Wrestling. I'm your host at MJP, joined by, as always, Hollywood, mind you, Marc Chouen.
Yes. Oh, Putty, how relaxed do you feel after a nice detox retreat? I feel wonderful.
I don't feel wonderful.
What do you mean?
It's a nice, fancy spa. I thought you took me to a spa.
Yeah, I
Like,
took
relaxed.
you to a nice,
Relaxed.
beautiful spa.
Could I get one fucking drink?
It was,
I couldn't get one drink at a spa?
I called it a detox thing. What did you? Did you
didn't tell
just
me-
hear retreat? Did you hear resort?
You never told me detox thing.
Oh well,
Couldn't get one freaking drink.
I thought you assumed. You didn't enjoy the kale juice?
No, I never even drank that. I spilled it on the...
Dude,
grass.
oh my god, it was so refreshing. I feel like $1 million. I feel ready to go.
I feel like you wasted $1 million.
No, well, Putty, it was my gift for you, but I could see that you're not
Did
appreciative.
you get a
of
return
it.
receipt?
You're such a dick.
Anyway, moving on. Happy New Year, officially, since we weren't here last week. Happy New Year, Mark.
Happy New Year to you as well, Putty.
Thanks. Anything you want to talk about? Any New Year's resolutions you got going on this year?
New Year's resolutions? I don't know. I just, working to evolve. That's really been my goal for 2020, just to evolve, take the next step in my career, take the next step in my relationship with my wife.
What would that be? You're married.
Married, yeah. We want to get another place in Westchester. Possibility of having a little Schwan down the road. So yeah, I mean, those are things for the next steps for our relationship. What about you?
I'm perfect. I don't need to change anything.
You know what? That's wonderful, Putty. I think we should all aspire to be more like you.
Because I do aspire to inspire.
Don't take
That is my life
line.
motto.
No, that's
That is
my line.
motto.
I've said that.
At Marc Putty, I inspire to inspire.
I've been saying that for 5 years.
I've been saying it.
That's my sign off on my emails. Even
I've been saying it for 5 years and one day. So
prove it.
okay, well after the show.
Okay.
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 Okay. Sounds infinity.
All right.
Anyway, what are we talking about here? It's a wrestling podcast.
Let's get to it.
I'm the host here. Right?
Okay.
Is it
Yeah.
kind of-
I mean, I'm a co-host.
Okay.
Okay.
That sends me on a spa retreat that can't get one drink.
The purpose is detox, Putty. You're
Wow.
supposed to feel better about your life.
That was the exact opposite. What do you think I drink?
To forget, I guess. I don't know.
That's all right.
I drink to remember.
Really?
I got dark real fast.
That's sad. I should talk about more stuff in intro chat, right?
We should.
We were there for 2 weeks.
I mean, I've been. I started doing my duties as a SAG member to watch the stuff for the SAG Awards.
How's that going?
Going pretty well. I was actually on the nominating committee this year for TV, so I watched a lot of good TV this past year. But now I'm getting the movies that are coming in. Excuse me. And so far, I watched The Irishman.
Oh, finally. How was it?
Very long, so I broke
Very
it up
long.
into 4 parts to watch. I don't have time to sit through a 3.5 fucking hour long movie.
Okay.
Pretty good. Wasn't
Not great, huh?
no, it wasn't great. I think I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting. I mean, they're all much older. I mean, Joe Pesci was already retired. I believe Harvey Keitel was as well.
Really? They came out for retirement for this?
Yeah. Oh, I know for a fact Joe Pesci. Harvey Keitel, questionable. But no, I mean, it was cool to see the whole gang back together again. It was cool to see Al Pacino working with Martin Scorsese. Some fine performances on there. Overall, as a movie, I don't know. I guess I had higher expectations for it.
Can you tell us who you voted for?
I haven't voted yet. I can tell you what I voted for TV because I nominated them to be on there. I voted a lot for the morning show, which is a show on Apple TV, probably the best show I've seen this year. I voted for David Harbour for Stranger Things. I thought he crushed it. Billy Crudup for Morning Star. He made it on there. What's that?
Morning show?
Yeah, morning show. Russell Crowe, Loud as a Voice. Definitely watch that show. It's probably one of the better limited series I've seen this year. Who else did I vote for TV? I'm trying to think.
Nothing for Ken Jeong, huh?
For Ken Jeong?
Yeah. For his great work on The Masked Singer.
It wasn't even considered, actually.
So The Masked Singer is a competition show where we have to guess who the singer is based on their voice and the clues they give us.
You know, my wife had no idea what that show was about. I've never seen an episode, and I still knew what The Masked Singer was.
Oh, that's weird. It's in the name.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Did you come up with a spin-off, The Masked Dancer?
Oh, God.
How are you supposed to even figure out who this person is? You tell by the sound of their voice.
Right.
So freaking stupid. Fucking stupid fox. If you need a host for the show, let me know. Dial it up. 619-343-3005.
You talk shit about it, and now you want to be their host? It doesn't work that way.
You talk shit all the time.
Oh, well, I guess. And then we still get jobs.
You talk shit all the time. Oh, buddy, don't make sure you edit out of the show. I don't want to lose this job. So you're welcome. What'd you do for New Year's? You went to the bar, right? Down on your house?
Yeah. I went to a very fine establishment called Francie Brady's,
Okay.
which is right downstairs from me. Loved it. Had a good time. My brother-in-law and his significant other, my sister-in-law and her significant other, along with a friend of mine, came on out for it. We hung out with my wife, drank our asses off, had some good food, went back upstairs to my apartment, had a little nightcap,
Yeah, I bet you did.
called it a night.
Nice. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
What about you? What did you do for New Year's?
I went to my friend's house. They moved out to Long Island
Oh, right.
because I couldn't drive. I couldn't drink because I was driving.
Ah.
Because you know the cops are gonna be everywhere.
Yeah, no, dude, they were when I drove back from the studio the week before. Holy cow, the cops were like everywhere. Like every other 5 minutes, I see another cop.
So I was in a house full of married couples with an army of screaming kids running around. So needless to say, my New Year's was awesome.
You got to make the best of it, though.
I did bring peanut butter whiskey.
Ooh,
Everyone liked it.
that sounds sexy.
It was delicious. Except for the person I brought it for who likes peanut butter. He didn't like it.
That's odd.
He's an odd character.
Although, like, okay, I kind of get it because I love orange juice.
Mm-hmm.
I love champagne,
Really?
but I don't like mimosas.
That is weird. It's the same shit.
Yeah, I trust me, I get it, but for whatever reason, I just don't like mimosas.
That's weird.
Or maybe it's just because I like Bloody Marys that much more.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. I noticed something about Bloody Marys. People either they
gross?
love it or they hate it. There's like no in between. I've never heard say, "Oh yeah, it's okay."
You know what's the best Bloody Mary I heard?
What?
Cheers in Boston.
I've been there. I actually didn't know that. I've never had a
We were
Bloody
in Boston a couple years ago, 2011, for the Royal Rumble.
Mary. Okay.
A friend of mine's a big Bloody Mary drinker, unbeknownst to me.
Huh.
And we went there for brunch, and he said, I got to have the Bloody Mary here. I heard it's one of the best. And he did not disappoint.
Wow. Okay.
So,
Next time I go to Boston, I have to go back there. I like Cheers. I think it's a cool place. Touristy, yeah, but
Yeah.
still is pretty cool. But now I want to try Bloody there. I'm. You sold me.
road trip.
Bro trip. I'm down.
So let's figure the details out. Then come
Okay.
back to get some news.
Awesome.
It's time for In the News with Michael J. Putty and Marc Chouen.
Mark, remember the spa? I couldn't get a drink,
Yeah.
which really ruined my time.
I'm sorry, dude. I thought you knew, but okay.
I did see they had plenty of ice cream.
Yes.
We love ice cream.
Yes.
Who doesn't? I mean, you scream. Ice cream.
You knew it was vegan ice cream, though, right?
That's why it tasted like ass?
I'm just saying. But anyway, go on.
We all scream for ice cream.
Yes.
Well, Good Humor announced to bring back officially the WWE ice cream in a different way. I thought it was going to bring back the old school WWE ice cream bars.
They're not?
No, these are ice cream sandwiches that are like those Klondike bars.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
It's like an ice cream sandwich.
Okay.
It's a square ice cream sandwich with vanilla ice cream in the middle with those 2 vanilla wafers on top and bottom. There's no chocolate layering. There's no stick. Like this isn't the same
No.
as I had when I was a kid.
No, not at all.
But they will feature images of John Cena, Roman Reigns, Becky Lynch, and some legends like Macho Man Savage. They will be sold in 4-packs or individually.
You know that shit's going to like sell out. Even still. That's
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
It depends on what flavor these...
CM Punk must be like going nuts right now, remember?
Yeah. It depends on what flavor the vanilla wafers are. Are they just like vanilla wafers or the same vanilla thing that we had ice cream bars? It was different. If that makes sense at all. That sounded more sense in my head. But we'll find out.
I'm surprised they didn't do it back when CM Punk had that thing going, though.
You would think.
But then you would think, like, how long of a process was this to do? I mean, I can't imagine this being something overnight.
I'm surprised they're not bringing it back in the original form. They're bringing it back in sandwiches.
Well, I guess they kind of want to start something new. Kind of like Star Wars back, bring back an old idea, but trying to make it fresh.
Nice try.
I'm just saying. I think that's maybe the philosophy behind it.
They will hit nationwide retailers and ice cream trucks beginning February. What ice cream trucks out? Maybe probably in the South. So February coming up, a couple weeks. Keep your eyes out.
Or maybe this weekend we're going to get
60s here in New York.
Yeah, exactly.
They will probably range from $3 to $5.29 based on the quantity you buy.
$5.29
for 4. That's not bad.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah. So what are you excited about this?
Well, personally, I am allergic to milk, so I can't have
no.
much. I've actually never had the original WWE or WWF back then ice cream bars.
Such a fake, phony person.
What do you mean I'm a fake, phony person?
I totally believe that you were totally into it. Totally excited about it.
I am excited about it for other people that like ice cream. I'm not selfish. I think it's a cool idea.
But
I personally can't enjoy it.
Like the spa where I can enjoy a drink?
I mean, I'm...
same thing.
No, it's not, because I'm
doing?
happy for other people. You're just...
A miserable person?
I mean, I was going to say it. You just said it.
He's an asshole. You know, the news of this week broke that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are leaving.
I know. It's big.
You should do the same thing. In other news, what? MLW announced via press release that they signed Mark Adam Haggerty. So a good friend of our show, Mark Adam Haggerty, signed to MLW. Congratulations to him.
Very happy for him. I think very, very much well-deserved.
But have been big talks of breaking news regarding MLW and a major partnership that would be transformative to MLW's immediate and long-term future. Well, we found out there's interest from Showtime to air on that network.
Wow. That's a big move.
We don't have any other specifics at the moment. It's just breaking news. But also, Showtime was interested in AEW last year.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah.
They've never really entered anything wrestling-wise, but they have a big boxing following.
They do have a big boxing following. So it makes you think. I mean, Showtime, HBO, they always compete. You know, if this is true, if Showtime does indeed pick up MLW, what does HBO do?
What do you think they do?
I don't know. Anthony Cole, what's up?
Oh, shit. Calling out the big man, huh?
Oh, yeah.
We'll follow that closely. You know the news? You hear about this new gimmick they're doing, trying to rename Corbin, Kentucky to King Corbin, Kentucky?
Okay, wait, what?
There's a city in Kentucky called Corbin.
Oh, right. Okay.
Now, the officials reportedly wanted to rename the city King Corbin.
No. Stop.
WKYT in Kentucky reports W has kicked off a grassroots campaign. Okay.
I mean, is it going well?
They don't say. I mean, it's all to promote their non-televised live event at the Corbin Arena, which is this Sunday, which is after the show airs. But
no,
they have camera crews there. They have a big showing, trying to sign this petition. Do you think this will actually pass? King Corbin, Kentucky?
I don't think it will pass, but you know, if they're filming this whole process going on and it fails, I mean, I think that could be a good storyline that they could use.
They will be handing out free tickets to the show, so as incentive.
Oh, stop. Still. Listen, I'm a huge WWE fan.
Are you? I can't tell sometimes.
What do you mean?
Nothing.
Anyway, I'm a big WWE fan.
Are you? I can't tell sometimes.
Okay, we're going to do this game? Are we really doing this?
Move on.
Okay. So as I was saying, I'm a big WWE fan.
Are you though?
I hate you. If WWE came to my door saying that they want to rename my town after a wrestler, I wouldn't be for it.
Really? Why not?
Why not? Because it's my fucking town, dude.
Not your hometown.
Especially if they did it for my hometown. You kidding me?
But they already live in Corbin. Okay? Why not just call it King Corbin?
Because. Like,
I thought this was a good gimmick. I like it. But when he's no longer King Corbin,
right.
you still have Corbin, Kentucky, though. It's still cool.
I don't know.
I think I'll talk way too long about this, but good luck to them. Anything else you want to add?
No. I mean, we can go over how I'm not a big WWE fan, but we'll save that another time.
I know, Mark, we talked a lot of conversation off air about this. You're really looking forward to Tyson Fury coming back to WWE since you're such a big fan.
I'm not a big fan of him, but I understand the prestige with him.
It'll depend on his next boxing match.
As well it should.
He's set to fight Deontay Wilder on February 22nd, the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. The result could determine his future at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense. If Wilder wins, Vince isn't throwing money at a guy who just lost in the pay-per-view.
Right. Why would he?
So I don't even know why this is a news topic. People are clamoring about this.
Why?
Do people want to see Tyson Fury back? That's something I want to see.
I mean, it would be cool to see him fight Brock Lesnar in a big fight feel. Mixing these two different worlds together. These two behemoths in the same ring. I don't necessarily know if I want to see that WrestleMania.
No.
We can save that for a SummerSlam. Especially like what?
Save for a crown jewel.
No. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure the Saudis would love it. But when's his fight again, Tyson Fury?
February 22nd.
February 22nd, right? And then WrestleMania is early April.
Yeah.
It's not enough time. Even if he wins, I feel like it's not enough time for him to get into that ring shape.
Ring shape? He just was spending months training for a boxing match.
Yeah, but it's different. Boxing and wrestling are two different things. And then also, like, you don't necessarily know how much damage he's going to get in that fight.
That's true.
That's something to take into account as well. So I don't know. I think that you can save that. You can save that for later on in the year.
Okay, another news. W has reportedly signed, good friend of the show, two-time Shimmer champion Mercedes Martinez to a contract.
Absolutely. Congratulations to her.
She worked both Mae Young Classics. Well-deserved. Looking forward to her shining on NXT and then the main roster.
Now, I keep hearing about, people saying about her age now coming into WWE.
Okay.
How
old is she?
Apparently she's 39.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah.
She looks damn good for 39.
I know. I didn't realize that. But, yeah, I mean, she's in her older 30s, hitting the 40s pretty soon. I hear Mark saying, she might be too old to do anything of significance in WWE. Are they just going to make her be a producer?
Mm-hmm. I know what you're going to say here. Go ahead, say it.
No.
Go ahead, say it.
What do you think I'm going to say?
Dave Bautista.
What about Dave Bautista?
What, he was in his late 30s, early 40s?
I mean, true. But I don't know. I guess it's like, well, you look at a lot of the roster. We were talking about Bobby Roode on SmackDown. Right. I mean, he's in his 40s, and he looks phenomenal. He looks better than ever. Dolph Ziggler is not a young pup anymore. He looks great. AJ Styles is older. But you know what? People give a pass for the men, but what the women have, when they're older, for all of a sudden it's not cool. But look at Mickie James. She's in phenomenal shape.
Love me some Mickie James.
Shayna Baszler.
Baszler.
Isn't it Baszler?
Baszler.
I feel like you're fucking me up.
Okay. I'm trying to correct you here. Okay.
Is it really Shayna Baszler?
Baszler.
How come I hear Morrow say Shayna Baszler?
I don't know. Baszler.
It's Baszler?
Yeah.
Are we spending way too much time in this?
Yes. I'm not going to edit this part out either.
Shayna Baszler.
Baszler.
I fucking hate you with a passion. But yeah, Shayna is older. Asuka.
True.
I think is her 40s, right?
40s, yeah.
But people don't say shit about that, really, with Asuka.
No. Because of the way she was pushed.
But people do talk shit about Mickie, I think.
Yeah, poor Mickie James. Hope she comes back.
I don't know. I think she'll do fine. I don't necessarily think that they're going to sign her just to be a producer and then bring her to the Performance Center. Obviously she's going to do something. What brand she shows up on, I'm not too sure.
You got to build her up. She's not a big name, so she's got to
They got
to introduce her slowly to the nationwide universe.
NXT would make sense, of course.
Maybe quick run in NXT.
Especially if they move Shayna to the main roster.
Yeah. Which
it's rumored that it's going to happen with her versus Becky Lynch at WrestleMania.
Absolutely.
that would be a good spot.
Big time. Perfect fit.
Exactly. That'd be cool for you to see her versus Rhea Ripley.
Right. I'm going to give you that dirty look. In other news, USA Network has announced the second season of Steve Austin's Straight Up Steve Austin Show. Did you watch the first season?
No, I have not.
It's a good show. The interview-based show will return sometime this summer, featuring 8 30-minute episodes. Austin's guest for this upcoming season will be announced soon. We'll keep you updated. The rating success of the first season was recently touted by USA and credited with their overall success. The show was 2019's #1 new unscripted cable series for men 25 to 54 and 18 to 49. That's huge. I didn't know it was that big, pulling that big numbers.
No, I had no idea.
It was a horrible time slot. So good for them. Looking forward to that. You don't care since you didn't watch the first season. Moving on. Some sad news, Mark. Cauliflower Alley Club announced via Twitter the passing of Andrea Hart, the wife of Bruce Hart. Saying, and I quote, the CAC would like to pass our deepest condolences to the friends and family of Andrea Hart, the wife of Bruce who passed away back on December 27th. She was not only a wonderful wife, an incredible mother, and caring grandmother, but a beautiful person in every way. So we here send our deepest condolences to the Hart family.
No, absolutely,
What
man.
a tragedy.
That's sad.
But you know me, Mark. Don't end on a sad note. Angelo Dawkins of the Street Profits announced him and his wife are expecting a baby come July.
Cheers to that.
Congratulations to them. That's all I got for news, Mark. Anything else you want to add?
No, that's it. I mean, I think you covered all the news. I mean, it was pretty slow for news this past week.
Last week was very slow.
Yeah.
So I'm sure things will start picking up as the new year starts. Giving me this dirty look, you're creeping me out. You're throwing up my game. Making me very uncomfortable right now.
Good. That's the intention. So I guess what? Up next, then, we do have an interview, right?
Okay.
Abel, he interviewed a man who's reffed at ROH, at Beyond, at CZW. He is also Mike Law's brother, Steven Dumeng. We're going to get an inside look at, the hard knock life of being a referee. So, Green Man, take it away.
If you're ready and willing, I'm Abel, and welcome to another exciting edition of A Shot of Wrestling. If you have not done so already, follow us on all forms of social media at A Shot of Wrestling. No A on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also contact us via email at inbox@ashotofwrestling.com or dial it up 619-343-3005 and leave your comments on A Shot of Wrestling hotline. Now we say it time and time again that wrestling brings us together, and today is no different. Today, we are joined by one of the best referees in the business. You may be familiar with him from his work in ROH, Beyond Wrestling, Create a Pro, Wrestle Pro, ZZW. Tonight, from Long Island, New York, baby, Mr. Steve Dumeng. Welcome to A Shot of Wrestling.
Woo! It is an absolute pleasure. I want to say, as right off the bat, I did graduate from Hofstra University with an English major, so I can appreciate your very pun-orific intro. I got it with your Abel. That's so much sense. I had to make sure I included that before I forgot to say it. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is Steven Dumeng in the house, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Dude, it's a pleasure. I mean, I see you everywhere. I see you traveling. Your 2019 has been insane because every show that I feel like I've been at, you have been working. Are you tired, or has referee been your main gig also in this past year?
I mean, it has been this past year. I've been doing more than ever. Fortunately, doors have opened, and let me tell you, if you're motivated, you're hungry, and you want this, and you're serious about it, man, the beauty of 2019 going into 2020 pro wrestling is that there's places to eat left and right. Let me tell you, 2019 was a very prolific year for me. I got to do my first pay-per-view ever through Ring of Honor with Best in the World. They're doing some things, but I'm very excited for what they have planned going into 2020. There's a lot of exciting guys that are going to be a part of of the events going forward. And I mean, seeing guys like Alex Zane, the return of Dan Moff, you have Dan Housen, Maria Manick, on top of people like Jay Lethal, Jonathan Gresham, Tracy Williams, PJ Black. We can go on and on. Obviously, Vincent, Matt Taven. The roster is unbelievable.
Yeah, the roster is totally stacked.
I mean, man, you have so many different flavors of wrestling being represented, and that's actually something I'm very happy about, being part of places like Ring of Honor, Beyond Wrestling, where the rosters are so diverse. I get to work with so many different types of pro wrestlers, and each environment, each match I officiate is always a different experience. But that said, I was very happy with 2019, and I took advantage. I was very opportunistic, and one thing that Tony Nese always told me was, you got to find a job that's going to help you facilitate your dream. And that's something that I always aim to do. So before my current run, if you will, I was working for Nielsen doing television ratings. I was working for GameStop. I had a brief stint with Nintendo. I've worked in AT&T. I worked at a who's who of places, and even down to my current job, which is also probably one of the most gratifying things I do, is working with special needs adults. On top of, aside from my job at pro wrestling refereeing, I also pick up random acting gigs whenever that comes around. That said, going back to working with special needs adults, it's something so satisfying and so gratifying to be able to influence someone's life and help someone develop and grow and have those goals.
I'm so surprised that you have like a shoot job also, though.
Yeah,
actually, you literally were everywhere. Like every event I went to, every time I saw you post things, I'm like, this is awesome. It's a great year for him. How do you find the balance between, having the shoot job, spending time with family and friends, and professional wrestling?
I do want to steal this one from Joe Dombrowski. I hope I didn't butcher his last name, but he does some of the commentary at Ring of Honor, and I had a car ride with him recently going to Final Battle. It's a good point is that, pro wrestling refereeing is a shoot job. I get paid for this, thankfully at this point. You know what I mean? It's another job that I do. I do acting stuff, and I pick that up, whether it's extra work or small roles, hopefully getting to become SAG, which would be great because I want to get them big-time acting roles, get that big money. But that said, till I get there, I don't consider having a shoot job. Pro wrestling is something that has been able to pay bills because I busted my ass and I travel and I made myself an asset. That's the way I perceive it. And that was a good way that he put it he positioned it for me. I'm paraphrasing on his behalf, but in any case, the way he put it into perspective is that, refereeing is a shoot job too. It's not just, what else, that other shoot job. So it was very enlightening because when he put that into perspective, I thought about it. I'm like, it's a very valid point. This is something that I'm making my life, and it's helping pay bills, and it's helping. I got a brand new car, man, 2019 Yaris, baby. So long story short, I worked at other jobs, and I'm very happy to work as a special needs life mentor or coach. It's very gratifying. So it was pretty cool to put those things together and per DM. So I have a very flexible schedule. Going back to my point about Tony Nese, is that you'll find a job, get yourself where you need to go, because very early on, man, you got to show that you're willing to want this, especially in the other category. You're not going to be right off the bat, or, not even as a pro wrestler necessarily. It's very, very similar. You're not going to be flown all over the place right off the bat, or, your hotels are not going to be covered. Man, I've slept in cars. I've done what I've had to do to make sure I got to myself point A to point B. And a lot of that involved, again, having jobs that had schedules that are very flexible, and there's no excuse. I found jobs that worked every single time. I named maybe I can name 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And on top of other things that people do, whether it's training or things of that nature, there's very many jobs you could jump into that help facilitate living in pro wrestling. Again, find a job with a very flexible schedule, because if you want this, you'll make it happen. So that's exactly what Tony Nese, in my words, told me. So.
Well, you were talking about that flexibility, and, as a referee, there's a lot of hats you guys wear, and you guys are very flexible in, doing the in-ring work. And I know you guys work really hard before the shows, behind the scenes. In the day of the life of a referee, when you show up to a show, what are some of the different hats you wear?
Oh, let me tell you, brother. No, thank you. I appreciate that. one of the key elements in becoming an asset, again, especially as an other, I'm a pro wrestling referee and I know my job and I know my roles. And knowing what my role is as a pro wrestling referee, I'm not an attraction in that sense. I'm not a draw. No one's paying to necessarily see me. The performers are the wrestlers that, however, we're different kinds of performers. We're there to accentuate the action, and we're there to enhance things. So, we're there to enhance the stories. We're there to enhance the action. We're there to give messages. Those are things that me knowing that has helped me become a better performer in the ring as a referee, and knowing your role, in the good words of The Rock. As long as you know your role, you'll be able to excel at it. And I feel like I've been able to be really good at it because I knew what the purpose of my job was, to promote the safety and the rules of the match, and also make sure people get from point A to point B, on top of, again, enhancing that, whether it's with helping, again, going back to your question, or rather your question of what else do we do? Woo, that's it right there. Just being a messenger, man. A referee is a messenger, whether it's, during the performance itself, or whether it's during the in the back. I help a lot with, especially at Beyond Wrestling, a lot of the transportation coordination. I mean, I'm usually the one doing the New York area, and we have a load of talent coming from New York. Let me tell you, between Creator Pro, House of Glory, and NYWC, there's no shortage of talent coming out of this area.
Right.
It's something that you have to always consider, is being able to just be more than what your role is, because at the end of the day, you're going to be that much harder to replace. Sadly, is everyone replaceable? To an extent, yes. However, whether those gaps get filled as well, that's where the debate comes.
Right.
So while anyone can necessarily do what I do as a referee, the basics of it are simple, sure, 1, 2, 3, etc. However, there's so much more to it. You know what I mean?
Let's talk about that a little bit.
It's not just that. So if you want to be particularly good at refereeing, it's not just.
I agree, and you brought up a few points in that. And let's get into your job in the ring, because what a lot of people don't realize is you are a messenger, and a lot of times, if injuries happen or you need to check in on people after a certain spot and things throughout the match, you are that messenger to the back, to EMT, like something's going on. Have you ever been in that situation when something didn't go the right way and you checked up on someone?
Of course. I mean, that just happened on the last season of Uncharted Territory. Actually happened in season 1 and 2 to both Bacon Brad Hollister, who suffered a knee injury during his match with Chuck O'Neal. That had to throw out immediately. Same with Jay Freddy, who unfortunately fell off the top rope. He was jockeying for position with Brandon Thurston. That's the type of insight that you have to have. Like, unfortunately, some people that aren't trained or don't know what to do in a situation like that, or how to even properly relay a message or check up on people. So people can I mean, you've seen it. I mean, people have legitimately gotten hurt, and the matches weren't thrown immediately. Like I saw. Being a massive MMA fan, I'll tell you that, but, being aware, sometimes a lot of referees on the independent circuit that aren't necessarily referees, it's sad. Sometimes you watch a lot of shows and some of these fans are let me rephrase that, some of the referees are actually fans, and that's heartbreaking because it's something there's such a big liability because, God forbid something goes wrong or someone doesn't know what they're doing, or you have the safety of people in the hands of that person. And
right.
That said, when I saw Jay topple to the ground, I knew he was out immediately. I threw the match out immediately. We had EMTs on site. I threw up the X. That's something that I saw immediately. I knew there was a problem. As soon as he hit the ground, I knew I had to throw that out immediately, and we got help instantly. And he actually was able to recover, and he was out on his, he's up on his 2 feet on his own accord. You know what I mean? Thank God, and that's the type of same thing with Brad Hollister, who unfortunately we had to, obviously, the match ended, but he was rational. He was able to be tended to, and we're able to take him out of the situation immediately because unfortunately he had a bad spill himself. It's pro wrestling is very much like watching a movie, man. Or better yet, watching like a play, because while things are scheduled to happen, there are things that are going to go off the script, whether it's an injury or someone just goes literally off the script and changes things up, or and as someone who has an acting background, that stuff kicks in very well just to improvise. You kind of have to know how to react, and having a background in acting has been able to help me accentuate when needed, my facial expressions or, your body language. As a referee, we're not, for me personally, my style, I'm never trying to be the focal point or stand out.
Right.
But, my style is more of a down the line shooter, if you will. If that makes any sense, but that's my description of what I do, and again, I wear many different hats. One of the things I've been very fortunate in my pro wrestling career is that right off the bat, I wasn't even supposed to referee. We'll backtrack a little bit because this is my foray into pro wrestling. It was all an accident. The very first show I did was FWE back in 2000, I believe that was 11. And this is actually plays to why I'm not so nervous about stuff in general. Whenever I'm in a situation where I'm reffing a really big match, thank God, I've gotten a lot of experience going into places like Beyond and ROH, and whenever there are marquee matches that I've refereed, whether it's at Battle Club, Wrestle Pro, CZW, etc. Off my first night, I was refereeing for guys, I believe, Eric Young versus Damian Darling was one of the first matches I've ever refereed.
Wow.
So right on the first night, I got to work with literally a superstar, and he was at TNA at that point. But my first night, and what's crazy, and again, this just goes to show you with being an opportunistic person, just being there and just showing face and being available, is that I had never refereed prior to that night. I had trained. My brother's a pro wrestler. Some people don't know this, but Colossal Mike Law.
Good friend to the show.
Say he's been on the show, and thankfully you're here, which means you survived, and we're here to tell it. But that said, Mike introduced me into pro wrestling, and obviously he's my brother, not my good old brother. No, he's my brother, my in fact real blood brother.
How many years are you guys apart?
Oh, that's a mystery. No, I'm kidding. We're Mike, I think was it 10, 82, 8 years apart. I had to do the math. Actually, I'm glad I can count. Thank God I'm a referee.
Yeah.
But in any case, 8 years apart. And Mike introduced me to WWF when I was very young. Man, I remember one of the first matches I was watching was my wrestling history is the best. But I believe it was it Shawn Michaels and Scott Hall in a ladder match, WrestleMania.
Oh wow.
WrestleMania 10. Definitely, yes. Okay, so WrestleMania 10. Okay, so I'm not too far off there. And then I remember watching 1, 2, 3 Kid. Man, I was always very inspired by the smaller guys like Shawn Michaels, 1, 2, 3 Kids, and I mean that relative to the WWF roster at that time. And guys like Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, those guys really inspired me to just enjoy pro wrestling in general and just watching it. Those guys really drew me in because Mike showed me those. I remember seeing Cactus Jack, man. He showed me a picture of him all bloodied up. I was terrified, but I was also intrigued. And that's really the type of stuff that Mike exposed me to. Maybe that's why I'm all messed up in the head, Mike.
So if he's exposing you to these things and Mike turns into becoming a wrestler, how did you get on your road to being a referee? Why didn't you become a wrestler?
Mike was training at Arena Puerto Rico in Brooklyn, New York. So right off the bat, at the ripe age of, I believe my time frame here is right, because everything feels the same at this point, because when you travel so much, everything just meshes into like one melting pot. And when I was there at a young age, man, I got introduced to people like Homicide, Quiet Storm, Lathon, the Tower of Torture. Oh man, I remember him. Latin Rage. A lot of those guys moved on to LIWF or the Doghouse. Steve Mack and Papadon and Dan Moff and Low Key. And it was cool to, again, work with those people, meet them at a young age, and then work with them years later in marquee matches. But when I was with Mike, I used to don a mask. I was El Nino.
No way.
El Nino, I swear to you. There are pictures. There's footage of this, of me running the ropes, doing head scissors, looking like El Torito, and, running spots. And, Mike taught me, how to run the ropes, how to bump, things of that nature. I was even in a rumble. I got, press plans out of it, but I got caught and I was safe at a young age. And this is years and years ago. But, man, at Arena Puerto Rico was a good time. I got to learn the fundamentals of pro wrestling. And, again, being around it and learning it from Mike, just being able to be engrossed by that and consumed by it at a young age was really fun. And then honestly, Mike was doing his thing, and as I got a little older, going into my teenage years, I really, really discovered my love of MMA. I was like really into Pride Fighting Championships. I would stay up on SureDog.com at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning on their forums, being able to freaking hit refresh left and right, hoping that I could find a torrent or a feed of that footage so I could watch it, because I wouldn't be able to otherwise. Yeah, man, that's really what I was gravitating towards. So I actually started doing media in MMA before ever even going into refereeing.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you ever see yourself being a referee for, like, an MMA promotion?
Man, that's on my to-do list. I would love to be one of the first. I think first, I could be wrong here, people to referee a pro wrestling match and an MMA fight. But that said, yes, I was very much engrossed in MMA. God bless her. I worked at 1495 Sports doing media with her, Stacy Poldesky, who's awesome. I wish her the best. And things unfortunately didn't pan out, and that kind of led into me stumbling upon pro wrestling, because actually I'm rushing the storyline, man. My timeline's really bad now, because that was concurrent with when I was doing refereeing. I just wasn't refereeing full time, I should say, at that point, because I was only doing FWE. I started 2011, and I was doing FWE stuff till 2015 when they closed. And then fortunately, around the end of 2014, 2015, I was able to go into Long Island and really branch out because of my experience in FWE. And that's why I discovered Creative Pro Wrestling, which is my home these days, alongside places like NYWC and VPW, were places where I got my start in Long Island, and then branch out from 2015 and, to being where I am today in ROH and beyond and all those other places. And I was very fortunate to be involved with an agency called Tomorrow Talent that was a bit of a bust, but I am fortunate for the experience I gained from them. So I'm one of those, and this is something that's universal with me and just in general, man, you got to see the positive in things. Like I can't be around negative vibes. I've been around things like that before, man. It's rough and it can consume you and put you in a dark place, man. I've been very fortunate to get away from someone or some people that were bad influences in very negative led negative lifestyles. Thankfully, I didn't let myself go down with that ship, and I rose above it. Actually, that's part of the reason why I even grew my hair out, to be honest with you, which like I said, I do donate to Wigs for Kids. So all, again, long-haired individuals, please, if you ever are going to cut your hair and you haven't done all, you haven't dyed it and done all types of stuff to it, you're able to donate to Wigs for Kids, which is a charity I believe in. So please check that out. And that's where my hair goes I've donated 3 times already in the last, I want to say 4 years since I started growing. 3 to 5.
That's awesome.
Yeah, about 5 years or so. So I've donated three times, and that's part of what drives me to always keep my lovely Latin locks flowing. And so
it's a great cause.
Yes,
and
say,
you sound like a very positive person. You were mentioning a lot about surrounding yourself with people who are very positive. Now, is this a type of personality you've always had throughout your life? Really?
You wouldn't know this, but as a referee, because I'm in the shadows, and if you're in the shadows, I feel like that's one of the best compliments you can get as a referee, is that people didn't even notice you there. So that's definitely something I consider a compliment. And you wouldn't think I'd have this very charming. Yeah, I'm putting myself over, but this very charming, very very elegant, very very charismatic persona. But going to acting school, being a model when I was younger, and doing a couple photo shoots. I was in a few books and magazine, if I say so myself, which was pretty cool as a young Latin stud. And I was able to parlay that into some non-speaking roles and some smaller things in acting.
What would be your biggest acting gig that you've had?
I mean, probably the biggest thing I've done was I was in hazmat and all, so it's cheating because it's a recent thing, but I was in a hazmat, so I was a CSI for a show called Killer Closers on ID Channel, or Investigation Discovery. So that was pretty cool. I got a lot of camera time, despite being an extra. It was a small non-speaking role, but I'll take it. And you can totally tell
cool.
It's me.
Really?
I'm all dressed up, but you can see the hair, man. That's why the hair is an identifying object. It was totally me. But I'm hoping to do more acting stuff in general because of scheduling and being able to pursue that. So I would love to do more of it. And so that's just one of those things, guys. Subtle hints. Y'all can hit me up for acting. I'm always down.
Well,
So-
you know, our co-host to the show is an actor. I'm sure
Who?
you guys could have a nice discussion. Marc Chouen, Hollywood assassin, Marc Chouen.
Yes,
Yeah.
let's do some improv. I love it. When it comes down to acting, improvising, or when it comes to theater, performance, etc. Improvising has always been my favorite, and all that stuff comes in super handy for pro wrestling. I can't address that enough. Yeah, you know, again, going all the way back to the point that you initially asked me, I was very much not into pro wrestling growing up as a teen because I kind of got away from it and discovered MMA. And then I would go to whatever shows. This is literally what brought me back. Mike would go on these shows. Mike would be driving all over the place. God bless his soul, because he still does it.
Mhm.
And Mike is, again, he doesn't get enough love, man. He's one of the most hardworking dudes I've ever met. And I always motivate him. He motivates me. You know, I got to referee his ROH, which I thought was pretty cool when he wrestled
awesome.
Shane Taylor. So, hey, if anyone ever asks if I'm biased towards my brother, there you have it. No, but he lost the match, guys. Now, all jokes aside, it was cool to be able to have that experience with Mike, being on TV on such a big platform, because we watched WWF growing up together. So for me, that was something that was really cool, and I know that meant a lot to him. And I keep telling him, you know, one of the things that works in pro wrestling, you got to know what's trending, and if you're creating content, you're putting your name out there, you will be undeniable. That's something that Delirious said at tryout I was at in ROH. You know, that's something that is true, and I stand by those words. Like, you want to be undeniable. You want to make sure that you are not, you know, you are proven. And that said, you know, going back to the point of being opportunistic, I was being brought back into the world by Mike because he was still pursuing his dream. He still is. We both are.
Yeah.
And I would join him at shows, and I didn't go as a wrestler. Again, I would join him at training sessions here and there just to freshen up, like whether it's bumping or things of that nature. So I would still get involved with wrestling, even though I never pursued being a wrestler because I wasn't interested. I just wasn't, you know, while I think the idea of being a pro wrestler is very cool, and I do like it, for me, it just, you know, I was more focused on acting and modeling, theater, and things of that nature. And then when I went to college, I was a radio, TV, film minor, which is why I sound so amazing on
You
this
sound
podcast.
great. Yeah, of course.
And
silky
Sorry.
tones.
Humble brag. Gonna soak that in. But and I was an English major, so I was really focused on other endeavors. Also, gaming is my passion, which I still am all about it. I was not interested in pursuing a career in pro wrestling because I wasn't really, again, it just wasn't my calling. It wasn't my interest. I enjoyed it. I liked the idea of it. You know, I supported Mike, and I would go to shows and write reviews. He would always ask me to give his opinion. And, you know, as someone who was pursuing an English major, this stuff really kind of went hand in hand. I got to post, you know, things on like message boards and stuff. I don't even remember where or what usernames they were. So good luck finding it. That said, I would always comment. And actually, to be fair, a lot of it was written. This is before the interwebs, now that I think about it, because Mike really broke into pro wrestling in the dark ages. So it wasn't as easy as it is today. And we have so many more outlets to blow up, if you will.
Yeah.
Twitter wasn't really live back in the early 2000s. Same with things like Instagram and Facebook. And, you know, I mean, GIFs, I don't even know if that stuff was really even
No, not at all. Do
thing,
you
if
enjoy
will,
that
so.
part of what's going on in wrestling today? That fact that, you know, if you are a fan, you're able to grab that content as easy as just checking out someone's Instagram page or Twitter handle?
I think it's amazing. We live in a world and a society where convenience over everything. And if you can give someone a bite-sized bit of what you're about and it's 7 seconds long, you make the most out of 7 seconds. You end up like someone like Danhausen, who blew up all over the place. Kudos to him for really knowing what to do and how to create really engaging content.
Mhm.
And man, that, you know, everyone, I wasn't even familiar with Danhausen. I never heard of him prior to his Beyond debut. I want to say
Right.
5 months ago, or maybe a little less than that.
Let's say this past year is really when I started to get to know a little bit more about
Yeah,
him.
I wasn't familiar with him, and then all of a sudden I see everyone changing their last name to Hausen this, and I'm like, oh man, this guy has a really, and this something is just advice in general too. He's doing something different, man. There's so many pro wrestlers. There's thousands upon thousands of pro wrestlers, especially as a as a male competitor, there are far less females, so it's a bit different for females. But for males, you need to stand out that much more because there's so many more that the pool's bigger. And you want to do things that are going to be different. So kudos to Danhausen for a very exceptional face paint. I love it. It's very right off the bat. I never seen him wrestle. I never heard of him. I didn't know where he was from.
Mm-hmm.
And right off the bat, I was intrigued, and I knew this guy was someone to watch. And now you'll be in ROH this week.
Is that same
weekend,
competition that is between like the referee community?
I gotta say I'm very fortunate, man. I worked with a who's who of referees, and I personally have never been given any amount. This is no BS either. Like, we've been very supportive, man. A lot of guys like Stefan Smith, who's in WWE NXT right now. He's on NXT tonight. God bless him. I'm so happy for him. Everyone. He's just one example. Like my buddy Chris Bankos, Adam Galt. They've been on MLW. Jake Clemens, Jeff Bundy, holding it down on Evolve. I thankfully have been doing my thing in ROH. Paul Turner, Bryce, Aubrey. Rick Knox. I worked with all four of them in different outside of All Elite, obviously, and they're doing their thing in All Elite. I have a few friends in WWE that are doing their thing, man. Bandito Jr., Ref Bennett, and a lot of those guys, man. I got to work with outside of before they moved on to those different places. And yeah, everyone's always been so supportive, man. That's something I'm very proud of. And again, going back to that point of positivity, man, that's what you want to surround yourself around. A lot of, the entertainment industry is going to be a roller coaster, man. A lot of ups and downs. The worst way to interpret something as, it was a waste of time or it was a waste of experience, or whatever. That's not true. You have to, the way I've ever looked at something that people would construe as a waste of time is either A, well, I'll never do that again. So that's a good lesson. I learned to not do that. So that's positive. And second, I was able to network with somebody, or I was able to meet someone I would never have met, or I got to talk to someone I never got to speak to. I mean, I pretty much just explained networking in three different ways in one sentence. But regardless, there's never a waste of time, man. There's always a reason for everything you do. It's a toxic way of looking at things, man. I've been very fortunate to deviate from people that perceive things that way. And if they have, and they're friends of mine, and people have reached out to me, I always, again, it's all about how you condition your mind to think. Again, going back to the point of Mike, I always tell him, just got to keep going, man. Don't give up. Keep doing it. It sounds cheesy, but it's the truth, man. You got to keep moving forward. You got to keep going through the adversity. No one's journey is the same, and you can't compare yourself to, not everyone's journey is going to be a Matt Riddle or MJF, but, people like Tony Nese took 12 years, and he's a stud. The guy's phenomenal. But it took him maybe 10 or 12 years to get to WWE, and now he's there. He's had a freaking amazing set of matches there. Being in WrestleMania, he won the Cruiserweight title as well. You know what I mean? Like that stuff, that's marquee stuff, but you can't compare yourself to other people. Your journey is unique, and the more you compare yourself to others, the harder it's going to be to move forward, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree. I think we've said it to, like, between our circle and the podcast community here, if we could start comparing ourselves to other podcasts or what other people are doing, we're never going to just enjoy the journey that we're on,
Yeah, man.
And just be true to it. Like you said, we all have an individual, unique journey, and the more we could get enjoyment out of it and spread that positivity, the more I think it's going to attract more positive people to you, and it's going to attract more opportunities, because who doesn't want to be around great positive people, right?
A couple of my friends, again, Jeremy Marcus, Nick Bonanno, Odie Brown. Odie is in Evolve. He's an awesome dude. He made a group message for the referees called Zebra Talk, which is awesome. It's really cool to see people like Drake Younger or Jason Ayers had been, discussing topics of interest there too. So it's really cool to pick their brains when available, and then learn from them, and then also.
What kind of questions do your peers have for you? Now, someone who's pretty seasoned, been through a lot of different promotions, what kind of advice do they search you for?
How to get yourself out there. I've done Evolve's tryout. I did, and I got to work for them in the past. I've done tryouts for Monster Factory, which helped me a lot. Thank you, Danny Cage, and I've thanked him in person. But that helped me a lot going into my Ring of Honor tryout, because a lot of the drills, a lot of the exercises he did in that tryout were similar in Ring of Honor's tryout, and I was very fortunate to have done Monster Factory before that, which helped me give me a good way to gauge where I was and what to expect, even though I didn't know it would be similar. It's obviously not the same. But
What kind of
some,
exercises do they make you do for a tryout?
as a referee, it's a bit different, but you want to be able to, be consistent with your count. You want to be able to look the part, so what I mean, be physically fit. Never hurts. In a tryout situation, that's for me. What worked is just hitting the gym, being in shape, and not that I'm, an Adonis, but I do hit the gym here and there, and stay fit, and then also being consistent and going into a place like ROH was good for me, was being able to have a resume, man. I got to work in England with LDN before that, and I got to work at CZW when they use headsets there, which is a big thing. Well, they had to use headsets when I was there initially, and that's stuff they use on TV, as we know.
What kind of information gets communicated on those headsets?
I mean, you get all kinds of messages, honestly. A lot of it, make sure you're facing the right cameras and things of that nature, timing, things of that capacity.
Timing is pretty important, and I think that's something that you guys get communicated a lot.
Very important. So again, you're a messenger in that role.
Yeah.
And it's very important to effectively communicate, and that's just anything in life. Those are the type of things you want to go in. For me personally, my best advice, you want to go into a situation with a tryout with as much experience as possible, and it was all a game plan. Once I knew FWE was the writing was on the wall and they were going to go out of business, which they did, I had to plan accordingly. I was, I'm actually pretty good at this. Maybe I should branch out. And I was fortunate to branch out to VPW and NYWC. And then from there, I was able to meet, again, it was all like a roadmap. So I knew that I could meet and work with DJ Hyde at NYWC because I've seen him there. And then I was able to work with him a lot. And then do a pseudo tryout, if you will, through Dojo Wars, and then from there go into CZW system, and then from there I met Dave Marquez. I was able to, this years later, but I was able to meet him and then go to Championship Wrestling from Hollywood and work with them and get my first bit of TV experience, which is awesome. I'm very fortunate for that, and then that even helped me do a spot with NWA, which was really cool. And then, again, I had, when I came back to New York, I was working with other places, Tier 1 when that was a thing, and I met Sanjay from LDN. So, you got to invest in yourself. I mean, I can't stress enough, especially as a newer or younger official in general. Like, people want to know how serious you are about this, especially in the other category where it's not really common for people that are referees to travel. Now it's more commonplace, which is awesome. But in the past, it wasn't. And as an indie referee or announcer, things of that nature, which is why I also Mark Adam Haggerty is the man, because he also gets it. Very similar trajectories, and you want to be in a position to move around, and I was able to do that, and then meet the right people because I knew what was there, and then again just network, and then show that you're willing, and then invest in yourself. Whether that means initially flying yourself to places, taking yourself, that's the investment. The value isn't in the money, that you're getting at that show at that moment, especially when you're early on. The value is in the experience, and that's what I can't stress enough of. Build your resume, be willing to put yourself in a position to travel and be all over the place, and then at some point, God willing, it happens. You get your tryout or however it goes. And then, then you're getting flown to other places. Then you're getting taken care of, getting hotels, all this stuff. That stuff doesn't come overnight. You have to be able to sleep in your car for forever. And that's actually kind of what got me into pro wrestling. Mike would bring me in to do reviews for shows. I was showing up to shows. The very first show at FWE, the both referees no-showed.
Wow.
Both referees that were supposed to be on the show no-showed. So me and Johnny Knockout, who's a wrestler, lives in Florida these days, were the first referees for the show. So he got in, he refereed. I remember being so nervous. And my very first night on the job, this is, mind you, I think it was like maybe 15 minutes before bell. And they were like, hey, none of our referees showed up, so we need referees. So Johnny was there, again, getting your foot in the door. This is just showing opportunity. He was willing to referee even as a wrestler. He was still willing and wanting, and he did it. And then I, using Mike's shoes, because I didn't have shoes that were black. So, and not that that was the least of my worries, considering what I wore was embarrassing. But me being my 24-inch pythons, I wore a I think it was a triple XL shirt from the gym at St. Pat's in Brooklyn. It was my very first show. So whenever WrestlePro had gone back there, it was always a nice homecoming for me. Yeah, at St. Pat's, I wore their soccer referees gym shirt, which was just the regular stripes, and it was so big that I had to tie it and tuck it in, and it still fit like a dress on my 110-pound frame. And then I wore jeans, which is a massive no-no. I don't even know if I had a belt on, which is another. Oh my God! I was wearing white socks. I had a necklace on. I had earrings. It was the crappiest look you could ever. All those things I just said, you should not be doing as a referee at all. Like, that is the completely not correct attire for a referee. And I was very fortunate for my second show to work with someone like Kevin Keenan, who had worked in WWE, and he showed me, like, I wasn't formally trained to referee because I trained to wrestle, and I was able to, on my third show, work with someone like Kevin Keenan that was able to whip me into shape almost immediately, which was great. My second night on the job when I was there, I got to referee Jay Lethal and Eric Young, and it was cool to have that bit of homecoming for working with Jay when I was my second show in, and then I got to referee, actually most recently, his final battle match, his tag title match with Jonathan Gresham, which was a 5-star classic. So that was really cool to be able to just put that all together and go from the indies of New York all the way to a massive platform in Ring of Honor and be a part of such an important title match and put on a hell of a show. It was really fun to be a part of those journeys. And then, so that's what it was. I was just there.
You've been put in some great situations. I mean, not just this past year, but it sounds like from the beginning, you've been put in a lot of great opportunities.
Yeah, right off the bat, I was able to kick those nerves very quickly. Again, working with people like Jay Lethal, Eric Young, Maria Kanellis.
Do you still get nervous when you right before a show?
The cool thing is you walk out with the announcer almost always.
Uh-huh.
And so usually it's the announcer who's going to set the tempo for the show because they're going to be speaking. They're going to be talking. I'm just going into the ring with them and then going to a corner and just standing stoic. So that actually is that really alleviates a lot of the nerves that I would have because, again, I'm not the focal point.
Right.
And I know that unless there's a specific reason for it. And knowing that, it makes me feel a lot more at ease because people are coming to see the wrestlers. People are coming to see them perform, and for me to enhance those performances. So that really makes it a lot easier to go into because for Final Battle, it was pretty much just me and Todd Sinclair, and I refereed about half the show, and that was my second pay-per-view ever. And that would sound, there's a lot of pressure there, but I'm very fortunate to have worked, with a who's who of people going into that situation. I've been able to work with Todd, very hands-on with him, and that's been exceptional because he's so smart. He's one of the best referees in the game today. And I was very able to work with Paul Turner when he was there as well, pick his brain, and I still speak with both of them, and I'm still able to, fortunately, whenever I have questions or anything of that nature, they're both very easy to talk to and help me so much. So people like Kevin Keenan, Todd Sinclair, Paul Turner, Brian Hebner, when he had a brief stint with ROH, it was great to work with him and pick his brain as well.
Mm-hmm.
I got to work with pretty much everyone from All Elite Wrestling, which is really cool because I've also picked their brains. And
what kind of questions did you ask Brian Hebner?
He actually brought up some great things to me about like making sure your count is consistent and making sure that it's not obvious that it's about to be the ending, or sometimes when people count faster or slower, it might be a little tip off that the end is near or something like that.
Gotcha.
He just stressed being consistent. So that's stuff that I got to pick his brain about, like things like that. So like consistency, your appearance, what kind of pants do you see? Pants always seems to be the thing. Like, I'm a Dickies
why is
guy,
that?
so I love Dickies. Dickies is always the go-to, but you know what? They ash in the knee part because we're bending down so much, or we're on our knees a lot.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
That's what that's what anyone said, to be honest. But regardless, they get white on the knee part, and it's very obvious, and it stands out on camera. So again, as a
It's a
referee,
valid point. I would never
don't
have
wanna
thought of that, but you're right.
you don't want to stand out much, so you want to see what brands work the best. And even though I love
Wow.
Dickies, that tends to happen. So there are other brands that, like I believe Hagar. There was another one someone mentioned that is never a bad idea to kind of switch around. I'm still a Dickies guy. Don't get me wrong. Trying to get that Dickies sponsorship, but
What a promo you could cut.
we asked Ollie, right?
Never ashes in the knees.
Never ashes in the knees, except sometimes. But it depends. It sucks because it's very hit or miss. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So, I mean, I'm still a Dickies guy regardless because they're easy to find. They're up the road at my Walmart, $20, comes in handy. And I love the look. They're very clean, very professional looking.
Speaking about the referee fashion, do you prefer like the zebra stripes? Do you prefer like sometimes you guys do bow ties? Is that something?
Yeah,
is that a preference?
I think it depends on the audience, man, or where it's at. Because I admittedly, I love when it's more than just the stripes. I love when it's like a polo. The CZW polo is so damn comfortable. Let me tell you. And a quick side story. When I debuted at CZW, I wasn't wearing my own shirt for 6 months. So I was borrowing Dan Yost, Nick Papagiorgio, love those guys, and Trooper Audubon, another gentleman. Those guys, I was using their shirts. Literally,
Wow.
we run to the back, and that's when we had the headsets too. So we had to really run and put these shirts on with each other and just share shirts because we didn't have enough shirts. So 6 months in, I finally got my own shirt, and it felt great to wear it. I slept in it. No, I'm kidding. But it was really comfortable. I love wearing it. I love logos, like every little bit to make it official, man. So whenever it's a polo or whether it's if it were up to me, I would love to see, like, maybe we can, at some point get a WrestlePro logo on our white shirts. But I love when there's, like, that little bit of extra detail, man, because, again,
gotta make the officials look official.
Yes, I would say people notice these little things, and it's those little details that people appreciate. So, yes, I love when it's a unique attire. Anything to set that brand apart, because that's what's really the importance of pro wrestling is branding and marketing. That stuff goes far. And, yeah, man.
You've traveled with a who's who of travel
Yes.
mates. Can we talk about that for a moment?
Yes. Uncharted territory, last year alone, I did all 31 weeks. That's 31 trips. I live in New York, in Long Island. People think I live in Massachusetts, and I don't. I don't. That's how often I was there, in addition to whatever else I was doing. I did 31 weeks out of 52, 31 to 52. I can't stress enough, in 1 year for both Uncharted Territory Season 1 and 2. And in that trip alone, just with Beyond Wrestling, I've had people like my usuals, like Chris Statlander, who I've actually, to this day, I've spent the most time with, I think. Well, she's the number one wrestler. I had a leaderboard, if you will. Initially it was John Silver. John Silver, even though people might not think it, John Silver loves me. We're best friends.
Are you really?
Maybe we're not best friends, but we are homies, and whether he denies it or not. And I spent a lot of time with John on the road, whether it's for CZW or Beyond or Wrestle Pro or Creator Pro, whatever it might be. And, I was able to – last year alone, I probably had about 30 to 40 different wrestlers or wrestling affiliate or, managers, etc., in my car or in a car ride that I spent time with. So a lot of those people coming from Creative Pro Wrestling, which is great because, again, they're on fire. A lot of great people coming from there. And you'll see more of them and more even also, again, NYWC2. You'll see more of those people dropping by for Please Come Back, which is one of my next shows coming up at the end of this month in Beyond Wrestling, which I'm very excited for. It's a cool concept where they bring in established Beyond wrestler versus a newcomer. They've never wrestled for Beyond Wrestling. It's a very cool, fresh concept. I hope more wrestling companies do. But kudos to Beyond for doing it. And yeah, I got to share car rides with Jordan Grace, Chris Statlander, who again holds the number one spot for the car ride. I know she feels so fortunate me saying this. Yeah. The number one spot. Dude, let me tell you, we've done trips to North Carolina.
Does she sit shotgun or?
Yes. And
is she a good co-pilot?
Yes, she is. She is. Man, she stays up. She offers to drive.
Because that's a responsibility, being a co-pilot.
That really is. That really is. Let me tell you, I've done car rides with people that don't drive, and I love those people, but it is, it obviously makes things difficult. However, we still got to do what you got to do. It's fine. I get it. But I remember, I will never forget this trip. I did a trip with Willow Nightingale who also she slipped to number 2. God bless her. She got injured, so she wasn't on the road with us as much. But she'll be back now, stronger than ever. Obviously, she came back at the end of 2019, and she slipped into number 2, but she might take number 1. Depends. Kristen is still or Chris Statlander, if you will, good old Kristen Statlander. She's still doing independent wrestling shows, so I still see her very often, probably to her dismay. But she's still with us, and despite being elite, and she's same with my buddy John and Alex, and with these wrestlers, they're my family. I have no friends. Right. I have like one best friend, and you know what's funny? When I was growing up, man, I've always told my other my friends when I was growing up, like unrelated to wrestling, I was like, oh yeah, I wish I could do all these road trips. I wish we got to do all these cool things together. And man, I never got to do it with them, but I'm very happy I'm able to do that with my pro wrestling family, man. And
what's the furthest you've traveled for wrestling?
I guess mileage wise would be England, but for LDN wrestling, which is awesome. I had a great time out there. I toured with Dickie Mayer and Darius Cartier. Yeah. And so that was a lot of fun, Mr. Cartier.
Mr. Cartier.
Mr. Carter, my buddy. And so I was out there with those guys. But traveling wise, I drove to Kentucky with Willow Nightingale, and we had to bang out the trip kind of quick. So yeah, man, from where I lived, that was about, I think, 14, 15 hours one way. And then but again, it was absolutely worth it, man. I can't stress that enough for those listening. Do it, man. If you got to go, it's very satisfying. Very
you've had some great opportunities. You mentioned it. It feels like the theme to our conversation today.
Yes.
As we wrapped up 2019, you had some great opportunities. Now looking into 2020, where are some of the things that you're looking forward to in this year for yourself?
Yeah, what I want to do is work more hands-on with independent wrestling referees and help them and share the knowledge I've gotten, like I said, from all those people I've gotten to work with. So many people I've been around that are so talented, and so, that stuff is very important. So, I'm very fortunate to have been around those people to make myself better. And that's what I'm looking forward to 2020.
Well,
traveling
listen,
more.
A lot of the people that you've shared those car rides with, and a lot of the people who you mentioned throughout this interview are in great opportunities. So hopefully it just brings you closer to them. Maybe a W down the line. I don't know.
Who knows? I mean, again, I'm willing to go wherever this journey takes me, honestly. And whether it ends up, wherever it may be, I'm very open to any and all opportunities that are feasible and make sense to me and that are going to be fruitful. I'm very excited for officiating more and more contests. And, I want more situations like when Brian Cage can't even get into my Chevy Aveo. So don't you worry. Yeah, quick
He's
aside.
A big guy.
Brian Cage
He's
is
a big
massive
guy.
And was not even able to fit into, it was a 2011 Chevy Aveo. Don't get me wrong. But the car was tiny, and he had to sit diagonally, and he still couldn't fit properly in this car. Thank God the car ride wasn't long, and he was able to get to, I believe it was American Rana for Beyond. And he was able to get through that car, and it had a banger of a match, unsurprisingly. And he's a very, very big guy. But yeah, man.
Well, hopefully we could see some of those images and pictures in your social media. Like recently, you were dancing around to the Shawn Michaels theme.
Yes, for sure. So you can check that out on Ref Steven Dumeng, and also at Ref Steven Dumeng on Twitter, Instagram, Steven Dumeng on the Book of Faces. And yeah, man, again, I just can't stress enough how much this has been positive for me. I've been loving every bit of it. I've even gotten to now share interviews. I feel like an important person. That's pretty cool sometimes. And
you are an important person, brother.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. And again, I've been very fortunate to spend so much time with so many good people, man. My wrestling experience, thank God, it's been 98% positive, man. I can't, no BS. Like, I really have been around really good people and fortunate to have been a sponge and take advantage of tryouts, take advantage of willing to travel because I love traveling. And also, I just want to say, as we start to find yourself a job that makes it accessible, because pro wrestling is not going to make you money at all during the beginning, but it can be a job that makes you money at some point, but you can't go into it thinking that. And, be realistic, create goals that make sense for you so you don't feel like you're constantly a failure. Again, those are my bits of advice. Travel, build your resume prior to getting to those big opportunities and put yourself in a position to be seen on top of just constantly just promoting yourself and just being positive. Like, there's a lot, man. There's so much negativity, so much disgusting crap that I see online that I actually don't really honestly go there. I don't even go on news feeds on Twitter. I don't even look. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I'm telling everyone flat out, I don't even look. If someone tags me in something, then I see it. But other than that, I actually don't look. Also, because people spoil too many things, man. So annoying. You know, there's some things I'm very late. I do not watch movies. Going back to my point of making sacrifices. Again, I've been single for over a year voluntarily, and
You're married to wrestling.
I'm married to wrestling, and thank you for understanding. And I don't have kids. I'll maybe have kids at some point, but my main thing right now, man, is to focus on myself, get myself where I want to be. It's even easier to do that when I have less on my plate. But I will tell you this: people who think you're too old, think that just because you have a family, you can't do this. Maybe you have a job that makes this a little difficult to do. Those things do not matter. There's people like Dan Moff, who's probably one of the best examples of someone like that, who is currently signed to ROH. He's back and is delivering. His match with Jeff Cobb was bananas, and I was so hyped when I saw that I was able to officiate that, and I was so excited to be able to be a part of his one of his returning matches to ROH, and it made me so damn happy because Moff worked his ass off, and again, that guy is a freaking proof in the pudding that things like, oh, I'm too old, or oh, my job is this, that, and another, or man, well, I have a family though. You know what I mean? You can still do all this stuff. You can still have all those responsibilities, still get signed, still got opportunities, no matter how impossible it seems, man. In pro wrestling going into 2020, there's plenty of places to eat. You will find a place to go.
Well, brother, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of A Shot of Wrestling. We're not done just yet, though. We still got last call.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
I love you, brother.
Hello, everybody. This is referee Steven Dumeng, and you're tuning in to A Shot of Wrestling. Thank you so much for checking it out. And guys, you can check out new episodes on Spotify every Monday.
It's time for this week's TV Takedown.
Dude, I gotta say, I knew referees, they have a lot of responsibility.
Yep.
But, man, I had no idea. I can never be a referee.
Well, besides the point, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well done. Great job. Thank you for Steven Dumeng for sitting down with us. We can see more of that. Was it on YouTube, right?
Yep.
Awesome.
All right, Mark, you watch TV this week?
I did.
Right, take it down?
Yeah, let's do it, bro.
A couple weeks ago, I asked if was Drew McIntyre turning face, and you said no. But now this week,
I'm wrong. Yeah.
Now this week he comes out, acts like a heel, wrestles like a heel, but he's playing up to the crowd.
Right. It's interesting. It's a slow turn.
Is it a tweener, a term that you've been using lately?
As of right now, yeah.
Do you see him as a face?
I think he's going to be full face soon.
Really?
Yeah.
What bad guys are left in Raw? Heels, I mean. What
Heels?
Yeah, what heels?
The Messiah.
Yeah, but they're busy
Seth
with
Rollins,
Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens.
You got Brock Lesnar, of course.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
I mean, it doesn't count. Of course, he counts. He's the universal. No, I'm sorry. He's the world heavyweight champion.
He's a WWE champion.
WWE champion. When did they get rid of the world heavyweight part?
When they unified both of them.
No, but at one point it was the WWE world heavyweight champion.
That was the big gold belt from.
No. I'm saying when they unified it, it was the WWE
world
heavyweight.
When they unified
champion.
it,
Yeah. Then eventually they just got rid of the world heavyweight.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's lame. But yeah, no, Drew McIntyre, I mean, yeah, he seems like he's gonna be full blown face. Samoa Joe, I'm not necessarily buying being the face.
I'm buying it more than I thought I would.
I mean, he's doing a good job with it. I don't think it's gonna be a long term thing.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just a feeling I get. I could be wrong. I was wrong about Drew McIntyre.
Yeah. What's Aleister Black's gimmick? Why is he raised up like that from candles?
I mean, really didn't follow him all that much in
Neither
NXT.
did I.
I knew the name. I've seen him wrestle here and there. I never really understood the character or knew what the character was.
Okay. If you let us know. If you know, let us know. Dial up 619-343-3005. Hotline's always open.
I have to say, it's a cool entrance.
It's cool if it made sense. Like, okay, why?
He's a badass in the ring. I don't know, dude. I don't know. I'd love to know.
Can I pat myself on the back for some reason? I'm very proud of myself.
I mean, it's rare, so go ahead.
Is it? When Samoa Joe said he had somebody, a third partner, and he was so cocky and like confident.
Right, yeah.
And then when Kevin Owens saw it, he was very cocky and confident.
Mm-hmm.
The first and only name that came to my head was Big Show.
Really? You knew it was a big show.
I was going to tweet it too. I'm like, my guess is the Big Show.
Oh, dude, you should have hit it up.
I didn't.
Go with your instinct.
I couldn't think. First of all, I knew I was wrong. I'm like, Big Show. But I couldn't think of anybody else that would make these two big guys so confident. It's a fucking Big Show.
Yeah, it was well done.
Because you had to be a big name. You had to be a big return. I was racking my brain, and I couldn't think of anybody but the Big Show.
He looks great.
Big return, yeah.
Yeah.
Good for him. Do you think it's going to be a long-term thing, or is he just here for this program? And
You
I
know
thought he
what?
was retired. I thought he was done.
I kind of hope it's. I don't hope it's a one and done thing. I hope they use him.
a couple months
Yeah, sparingly.
because he's here to put over talent.
I feel like Jim Ross brought up a good point recently about Big Show. What the WWE did wrong with him is that they overexposed him too much.
Really, how
You
so?
Well, he was like always on TV. You know, a man,
So was Stone Cold.
a man that size, though, is
that
like
size.
it's like a spectacle,
That's a good
like
point.
how Andre the Giant was. And to see him was like a treat, something special. And I think they kind of missed that with the Big Show.
That's fair enough.
If they use him right, and I think if they went about, especially now with Big Show being older, and they would preserve him, I mean that's the way to do it.
Interesting take because he still had a great career.
He did, absolutely. I mean, not to take anything away from Big Show's career and his accolades that he's accomplished, but I feel like he could have gone that much over. Listening back to what Jim Ross was like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense.
Interesting. Anything you want to talk about
From TV?
Yeah,
I gotta say, I got a couple of things.
I regret it already.
What's that?
What?
Huh?
What?
I don't know why you're such a dick to me, man. What did I do to you? I took
don't
you on
know.
a nice retreat.
Yeah, well, I couldn't
And-
drink at all.
Listen, if that's your only means to have fun, I feel sorry for you.
Then feel sorry for me. Yes, I feel sorry for me too. That's why I drink so much.
Well, okay. I gotta say, I really liked the announcement on Monday Night Raw about Brock Lesnar entering the Royal Rumble number 1.
Where do you think they're going with this? Because first of all, when I heard this, I'm like, oh, that's cool, but the belt's not on the line.
And, I was actually talking to Carson on the side about that. I think again, WWE's missing a pretty cool opportunity for him to put the belt on the line, almost like
But just hearing it now, that means it's too predictable that he wins.
No, is it? No, I think actually it would be cool if he did lose it at the Royal Rumble. He could still get his rematch at WrestleMania, still put him a program with that person. Because like right now, if he does win, say he wins the Royal Rumble as is, right? Championship not on the line.
Okay.
Then what? It's the same thing as if he wins with the championship on the line. It's then what? You still got to figure out something.
Okay.
I think it would be more intriguing if they had the championship at stake. But it's still like making me invest to see. Okay, all right, can Brock hang on for a full 30?
I feel like something's going to happen here. He's going to roll in the ring or roll in the bottom row.
He's not that dude though. I mean, that would make him look weak.
Oh, that's true. You're a good point.
They can't do that to Brock. I mean, does he get eliminated midway through? Does he last? I don't know.
It's true.
I don't know. It's gonna be interesting.
It evokes more questions than we have answers right now.
Right, and I think that's the goal though. With any TV programming, you want to have the audience ask these questions, and so they're doing a good job with that.
Okay. What else?
AEW saw Dynamite.
Okay. How was it?
Dude, that ending was pretty cool. I liked it with the tease about Jon Moxley joining the Inner Circle.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was well played. At first I was like thinking because the Dark Order approached Christopher Daniels to join their group.
Okay.
And it was a kind of tease. Was he going to put the mask on? Was he not? And then he said, "Fuck you, I'm not joining." And they brawled. Right. So now with Chris Jericho at the end of the program, having Jon Moxley join the Inner Circle, it's like, well, they can't have two of these go on. And then Moxley turns out he's going to join the Inner Circle. Like, oh wow, now what? Who's going to face Jericho for the strap? is this going to be a big dominant faction that we want to see? And at the end, John Moxley, in typical John Moxley fashion, when he gets all the schmucks out of the ring, he's like, "Hey, by the way, I'm just kidding, Chris. I'm not joining your super group," and hits him with the DDT and in the bottle as well. I thought that was great. I thought it was awesome. It totally fit. It kept the story going. It was well done by AEW.
Now I was reading, scrolling through Facebook, I think it was, and there was this profile that always posts about wrestling, AEW stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing AEW review and saying how this segment copied and ripped off a WWE segment from a couple years ago.
If anything, I feel like it kind of took from WCW a bit.
Oh, wow.
When Sting and the NWO. Do you remember that?
Vaguely.
When they were teasing about Sting joining the NWO and then he didn't.
Okay.
But everything comes full circle. I mean, storylines kind of get reused, reshaped, reformed.
Of course.
It happens. You just got to make it your own. I think Moxley made it his own. It fit his character the way he did it.
I watched Dynamite last week,
Mm-hmm.
New Year's Day.
You know what? I missed it, actually, New Year's
Okay.
Day.
I don't see what people like the appeal.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, all right. Same thing when I first watched it week one. It doesn't feel like a different product.
It does feel different.
Because I'm not sitting down like engrossed in it. I'm not really paying too much attention to it. But it just feels like another wrestling show. What's so special about it?
It's a little bit edgier.
Okay.
It does focus more on wrestling, and it has a good blend of storylines as well, as opposed to Monday Night Raw. I was talking again about this to Carson. It's more of a variety show. Monday Night Raw. It's meant to have the older fans that got away from wrestling. They're like, oh, your Monday Night Raw, I remember that. Oh, okay, this is what's going on. Or to bring in new fans, and then from there you have SmackDown, which is more, I feel like, storyline based,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have NXT, which is
Wrestling.
based. I feel like AEW has a blend of storytelling and wrestling.
Now, we missed the wedding of Lana and Rusev.
Do you want to bring that up now?
Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
No, we don't talk about it. I mean, just because the fact that they did nothing with it this week, I'm like, okay, what, why?
I mean, they did.
They officially cemented them as a married couple, but then the whole payoff to that thing was Liv Morgan, and Liv Morgan just shows up in the background thing. Oh yeah, we're gonna wrestle next week.
I thought that kind of ruined her, actually.
Yeah, so did I. But the whole point I bring it up is because apparently Vince really loved it. Vince would rather do this all the time,
What?
stuff like that. But he knows
It drew in a lot of ratings.
But he knows he has to appease USA and the network, so that's why there's more like wrestling and storyline stuff. And I read that, and I'm like, really? You're a wrestling program. Shouldn't you be focused more on wrestling than this hokey?
No, well,
Storyline
well, again, going back to the 90s, with the Attitude Era, it wasn't all wrestling.
Yeah, it was a nice balance, but he's loving this.
It was storyline. I mean, that's what storylines are about, to make you hooked in. Otherwise, you're just watching two people wrestle.
Yeah,
that's been your critique about some independent programs.
Most of them,
I'm not saying specifically which programs, but you've said that before.
Yeah,
but
most of them.
I'm just seeing wrestling. I'm not invested in these characters or the storylines.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about? Yeah, we are going to get an ultimate payoff here. I mean, we are going to see, Rusev face Bobby Lashley next week, and I don't know what this is going to lead to from there, but
Apparently it's going to go on.
it's going to go on.
Maybe until Mania.
Yeah, it's going on to Mania, apparently. I personally think, I do agree that this is getting too played out, this story. This should have ended a while ago.
It should have ended last week. The guy even said, like, oh, now I pronounce him husband and wife. Why redo it?
I don't know.
Anyway. Do you watch SmackDown?
I caught a little bit of it.
How about that Miz TV, man? John
Dude.
Morrison's back.
I am so glad they're back together, man.
Only way you can. Bring back Miz and Morrison, the greatest tag team of the 21st century.
Do we get to see Dirt Sheet again?
They have been posting some old dirt sheets.
Oh, I love that segment.
Definitely has to come back.
Oh, please do.
Especially now that they're more digital now with the digital
They're
show.
more digital. I feel like the characters have evolved so much over the years that it would be cool to see that in WWE and how they blend well together. And John Morrison, that flip that he did
To Big E?
to Big E,
Yeah.
and still kept his sunglasses on the whole time.
Oof. And stuck the landing. I don't know how he did that.
That guy is just
Welcome back.
so good, man. Welcome back indeed.
Do you think he'll go far? Do you think he'll be a main event player here?
What bothered me is the fact that he got no pop.
None.
He got none.
And no slow-mo.
I'm fine with that. I'm actually fine with the no slow-mo.
Okay. Why are we talking about this? Okay.
But the no pop
None.
is
Crowd
what
was dead.
bothers me. That's definitely going to be like, something that's going to be considered in the back. You don't think Vince McMahon saw it and heard like, hey, what I'm hearing crickets?
Yep.
Okay. He did get a bigger pop when he hit that move to Big E though.
Of course, everyone pops for big fancy moves.
Right, exactly. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it's going to be a trial run when he teams up with The Miz to face New Day. I think that's a great spot for him to start back out in WWE.
Oh, absolutely.
To test the waters, see what happens from here. If he goes over from that, then yeah, maybe he goes on to like other things. I think it's really, honestly, I think he's back to square one.
Really? Okay. He's been former world champion wherever he goes.
Wherever he goes, but it's different here in WWE. I mean, look at other wrestlers that have like these big accolades and other promotions, and then come to WWE and what? Like honestly, I'm surprised with AJ Styles that they even gave him the strap and for how long they did.
Yeah.
But it goes to show how good AJ Styles is.
Wasn't it? He's had a championship more days than he has not in WWE.
That probably seems about right.
I think that was maybe middle last year, so I don't know if it's still current to this day, but that's impressive.
I mean, I feel like I always see some sort of gold around his waist.
Yeah.
Like, AJ Styles is really that good. I mean, Vince, when he first saw him, didn't really think much, apparently, right?
That's right.
And the guy really has proven himself time and time and time again. And honestly, I feel like we still haven't seen the best of AJ Styles in the WWE, believe it or not. I've seen him outside of WWE, and the dude was, for lack of better words, phenomenal. And not to say he's not phenomenal in WWE, but I think it's just like the style of wrestling that WWE allows, they're not going to let him do.
Yeah.
I mean, he what was that move? The spinal tap they used to do, this ridiculous move from the top rope. I have yet to see that in WWE, and I don't even think they're going to let him do it.
I doubt it. He's a cool move now.
I mean, dude, trust me, he's got a tremendous amount of moves up his sleeve, and he doesn't even have to do them all. I mean, he's kind of like Shawn Michaels. He can tell a story.
Well said. Anything else you want to talk about with TV?
So you saw AEW this past week or no?
Last week, New Year's Day.
Yeah, okay.
Not this week.
Because I was going to ask you, or have you been hearing about what's going on with the women's division over there?
I hear it sucks. I heard it's not doing much.
So, Brandy Rhodes was on commentary, right,
Oh, okay.
for a women's title match.
Oh, before you go on, I did like on AEW when I watched it on New Year's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Hangman Page came join commentary,
Yeah.
and his Chiron said, "Has been drinking." That's funny. All right,
It's funny.
Give me more of that stuff. That's awesome.
Right.
Okay. Anyway, Brandy Rhodes on commentary.
Brandy Rhodes was on commentary, right? And I thought she did such a good job on staying in character, doing a thing. She's supposed to be a heel, right? And people are bitching about her on Twitter, saying, "Oh, get her off commentary. I can't stand her. Blah blah blah. She's awful. What is she doing? Yada yada. She's so annoying." Guys, fans,
Please.
please listen to this. She is playing a character.
Thank you.
She's making you hate her. She's doing her job very, very well. That's what's going on.
These trolls are coming out of their parents' basements to say this. Yeah, great job to her.
Like, she's doing a fantastic job. I see what she's doing.
People just love to complain.
Oh, they love to
It's
complain so
freaking
much.
annoying. The worst part about social media.
Like, she's playing her job perfectly. Perfectly. If I'm Brandy Rhodes and I'm seeing those comments on Twitter, I'm clapping. I'm patting myself in the back. I'm like, all right, I did my
Mission
job.
accomplished.
Yeah. They hate me.
Freaking idiots.
But okay, the women's division, okay, I think
heard it's not good. I heard
think
it sucks.
NXT is doing a better job with it. But then again, think about this, NXT is more established. They have more established women on that roster. These women here, some names we recognize, some names we're still getting familiar with, and I think they're figuring it out. Also, it's not that deep.
Mm-hmm.
They're still getting more signees coming on. So I think in 2020 we could see eventually a shift there. I think they're doing the best they can with what they have.
Okay. You would know more than I. If you agree, disagree, let us know. Hit us up on our social medias or dial up 619-343-3005. Talk about AEW's women's division. We'll talk more about it next week.
Amen.
Ready to get to this week's 3 count?
Oh, hell yeah.
It's time for the 3 count.
All right, Mark. Time for our 3 count. We're weeks away from the Royal Rumble. So let's look back and pick out some of our favorite winners
Okay.
from past Royal Rumbles.
I'm with it.
Per Royal Rumble. So, like I told you, if you want to pick Stone Cold 3 times, you can pick Stone Cold 3 times.
I'm not.
I don't see why not. All three great victories. Number 3, Mark, your favorite Royal Rumble winner.
Okay, so I'm going to go with Shawn Michaels the first time.
Okay.
When it looked like he was going to be eliminated. It looked like the British Bulldog won the whole thing.
That was 1995?
Yeah, I think it was 1995, yeah. Shawn Michaels was dangling by the bottom rope, 1 foot hit, and that was it.
First time I seen that move.
It was the first time we ever saw that, yeah.
Skin the cat, I think they called it.
Skin the cat. And Shawn Michaels came back in, and the music was playing. Bulldog's music was playing.
He was celebrating.
Yeah, he was celebrating. Yeah. We all thought the Bulldog won. And then Shawn Michaels out of nowhere throws him out, and we see the replay like, holy cow.
Like, that had to be rehearsed. How do they play? Like, what if his second foot hit?
What if? I mean, there's a lot of things that could have gone wrong with that.
I'd love to know what happened.
Even after you rehearse it, I mean, you're live. Anything can go wrong when you're live.
Sure, yeah.
And, well done. Well done by Shawn Michaels. Well done by everyone. Even commentary, they sold it so well, too.
Great moment.
Oh, fantastic moment.
My number 3 is January 22nd, 1995, when Shawn Michaels won. Not only was it a great Royal Rumble, he was the first guy to win the Royal Rumble at number 1.
That's true. That's right. He was it the Iron Man of that match?
And it was great to see him and Bulldog start 1 and 2 and end the final 2 guys.
I forgot the Bulldog star office too.
That was a whole great story arc to the whole Rumble. It was a great Rumble. One of my favorites.
Oh, such a well done Royal Rumble right there.
Number 2.
Number 2 for me is Shawn Michaels Part 2.
I figured you're gonna do that. Okay.
Yeah, dude. I mean, before that, it was like the whole concussion thing. What happened to with him? It was jumped. Looked like he was going to retire. And then he comes in. Was it number 18, I think it was? Number 18, 16, something like that. Yeah. He comes in, surprises all, and wins the thing, the whole thing again, which led up to, the boyhood dream comes true when he beats Bret Hart, WrestleMania, in the Iron Man match. Cool story, well done. And this time Shawn Michaels was a face, so it definitely it got the heart going, because at that point, I was even more of a Shawn Michaels fan. It was so cool to see that happen. So that is my number 2.
January 27th, 2008. Abel and myself, a couple of friends, went the entire day in New York City. Mm-hmm. That's where I told you the story. We snuck in and hung out with Ric Flair's limo.
Right.
It all led up to a day drinking, going up to Madison Square Garden to see the Royal Rumble. I think one of our first Rumbles, we just chant around with the crowd. You know who comes out? John Cena comes out.
That's right.
Surprise return. The roof blows off the place. And he ends up winning. It was just one of those great moments of like, oh, shit, I was there.
Probably like the biggest reaction John Cena ever got.
Positive reaction. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was an awesome moment. Awesome time.
Oh, I'll say this, though. WrestleMania this past year, he got a huge reaction, too. I was even cheering.
Well, of course, he was the Doctor of Thugonomics.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that was his best gimmick.
Everyone fell in love with him then.
Yeah.
Great gimmick. Should bring that shit back.
Oh, absolutely. What'd be cool if John Cena does come back and faces Bray Wyatt, and Bray Wyatt gets the Fiend, goes over, and John Cena goes back to Thugonomics.
Now you're fantasy booking here.
I'm fantasy booking. I just got a little hard. I'm sorry.
Usually do get little hard. Number 1.
I'm ignoring that. Number 1, Ric Flair.
I figured you're gonna put that number 1.
Ric Flair when he won it for the championship belt, no less.
That was cool.
It was awesome.
First and only time.
First and only time. Actually no. Triple H, he won the championship
at the Royal Rumble.
In the Royal Rumble.
Oh, okay.
It was vacant. It was what was it? Only a few years ago.
Held in abeyance. Yeah.
Yeah. But Ric Flair was the first time it happened, and the promo afterwards with a tear in my eye.
You have to yell. You're taking to a microphone.
You can play it instead, but
that's more work for me to do.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude.
Dick.
Let me just say, after Vito distorting the belt, to proclaim me the real world champion, I'm going to tell you all with a tear in my eye. This is the greatest moment in my life. When you walk around this world and you tell everybody you're number 1, the only way you get to stay number 1 is to be number 1. And this is the only title in the wrestling world that makes you number 1. When you are the king of the WWF, you rule the world.
It was epic, dude. I mean, especially with the history coming into it. I mean, Ric Flair, of all people, like the enemy, the WWF at the time.
Yeah.
It comes in and wins the WWF championship at the Royal Rumble over Hulk Hogan.
It's true.
It was big, man. It's monumental.
Monumental. Good word.
Thank you. What was your number one?
My number one is a winner. I'm a big fan of.
Oh, here we go.
Not only am I a big fan of it, a great moment that one of my guys won something, which is very rare. We talked about it before the show even started. But it's led to a fantastic storyline. One of the best storylines in a long time. And catapulted this guy into the upper echelons, to the main event player that he is. Eventually into the Hall of Fame. January 30th, 2005, Dave Bautista.
I knew it.
Winning the Royal Rumble.
I knew it.
That's just, he wins in that whole Great Evolution storyline with Triple H. One of the best post-Rumble storylines I've seen in a long time.
That was really well done.
I think it was great done. Great done. Very well done.
That was great done.
Great done.
Damn it.
Very well done. And it's, like I said, catapulted him to where he is now, Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's
all started there by winning the Royal Rumble.
It's not a bad pick, dude. I understand why you did. I know you're a big Batista fan.
I understand why you picked Ric Flair. Okay.
Yeah. Although Shawn Michaels is my favorite of all time. I keep saying that.
But yet you didn't walk out with Sherry Martel and Shawn Michaels at your wedding. You picked Ric Flair.
I did. Well, no. I didn't walk out to that.
Oh, you didn't walk out.
I walked out to Roddy Piper.
Right.
And my wife came out to Charlotte Flair.
Okay.
Get it together, buddy. Come on.
But you did also. That's what made me get confused. You did tell me you would cancel your wedding if Ric Flair passed away.
I would. Yeah. Because Shawn Michaels nowhere near death. I mean, Ric Flair had a couple of scares.
Everyone's near death. You never, you never know when the sickle's coming down on our heads.
Okay, there, guy.
You never know.
Take it easy, darkness.
You can come to it right now if I wanted to.
Was that a threat? I feel like I was a threat. Everyone, you heard it.
Whatever. Those are our 3 counts. Let us know your 3 counts. Your top Royal Rumble winners. Hit up on our social medias, Shot of Wrestling, or dial it up 619-343-3005. And now, Mark, I am a very smart man. I'm a very creative man. So the early infancies of the show, I had to create all our social medias.
Yeah.
Create our email.
Right.
Create everything.
Okay.
Twitter wouldn't let me put a Shot of Wrestling. That's why for the last 194 episodes, you'll hear me say, hit us up on our social medias, Shot of Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram, Shot of Wrestling, no A on Twitter. It really just drove me crazy, but there's a song to it. Shot of Wrestling, no A on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Until you, my friend, just tells me, why don't you just take the A out of everything? Make it a platform everywhere. Because I hate when you're tweeting somebody and they have to change it on Instagram or vice versa.
Right.
Like Eric Jaden, for example, I have to change his screen names to whatever platform I'm using.
Right.
And we just told me, why don't you just drop the A at everything? I felt like such an idiot. I'm like, why didn't I think of that? Almost 4 years later.
I feel like Justin Timberlake when it comes to social network. Drop the.
Yeah.
It's cleaner.
I'm like, so props to you for streamlining our social media process. So from now on, hit us up on our social medias, Shot of Wrestling, no way across the board. Because of you, my friend. Thank you very much. That's my go-home thought. Floor is yours.
You're welcome, man.
I feel so stupid. I'm like, duh. Face palm. I have a couple go-home thoughts, actually. I would just like to thank Alpha Championship Wrestling for having us be on commentary. It was our first time working with them, so major props to that. And, my second go-home thought right now is I want to talk about the Boulevard Bullies because they are going to be there at our Royal Rumble viewing party come January 26th. Apparently, they have a drinking game. Okay.
An original drinking game.
Not surprised.
Not surprised. But for the Royal Rumble, it sounds intriguing. Only 15 people can enter into this drinking game. 14 for everyone else because I think I'm going to get into this game. $20 entry gets you 2 tickets. But you know what? I'm not really.
For what?
Dude, I'm going to let Pat take this actually from here. So because I'm new to this, so I want to hear what Pat has to say about the rules. So Pat, take it away.
I want to say that this was not invented by me specifically.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It was invented by the Boulevard Bullies IP, but I'm a former member, and I have since taken up the, what would you call it?
Mantle.
I've taken up the mantle of the Boulevard Bullies drinking game.
Okay.
And, before you have met me, we did this drinking game 4, 5, 6 years in a row.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of lineage and
it's been developed over time.
Legend to it. Mm-hmm. But we also have developed a special version for you.
Thank you.
And the
Appreciate
rules
that.
of which I will get into right now. So there are 30 entrants into the Royal Rumble.
We all know this.
30 entrants, yes.
Everybody knows that.
That is a well-known fact.
Thank you.
For the women's and the men's, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Now, the game is best played with a dividend of 30.
And it would be like a box, like a fantasy football box. Like once the seats fill up, then there can't be any more contestants.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
The most
So
people...
we're going to cap it at 15.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay.
Okay.
Now here's the game.
Yes. Okay, so you all draw, every contestant who is bought into the Rumble, be it 10, 15, 30, whatever, they all draw random numbers that represent the numbers of the entrants in the Rumble.
Perfect.
Yes.
When your wrestler comes out, let's say it could be, whatever, 10, 15, 3, whatever your wrestler comes out, you wager an amount of beers that you believe that you can drink from beginning to end during this person's run in the Royal Rumble.
Before they get eliminated.
Before they get eliminated. So, for instance, if number 10 hits and you have number 10 and fucking Kane comes out, like 2008 Kane comes out, or a
Mr.
Braun
Elimination.
Strowman.
The referee
Right.
will approach you and ask you how many
Right.
beers.
I will come up to you and I will say,
wager.
how many beers do you wager on your entrant? The goal is to try to wager the most amount of beers for each wrestler that comes out under your ownership and pound those beers before that guy gets eliminated. So, for instance, if
So
you
this
have...
is where you guys can make the money.
Yeah.
This is where you make the money. Because at the end, at the core, it really is just a raffle. Because no matter what happens, if you draw the number of the guy that wins, you will win the most money.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
However, if some guy with Braun Strowman wagers 3 beers and Braun Strowman eliminates 12 people...
But that's the rule you have yet to mention. If your entrance number, you pick number 3, however many wrestlers your guy throws over the top rope and hits the ground outside, you win $1 from the pot.
I think we're pretty much good, right? People could connect the dots.
I think you got it. Yeah, I think you got it.
Okay, so wait, no. Let me just
a little
say.
recap. Give the whole recap.
Everybody throws money in. Everybody randomly draws a number, okay? When your wrestler comes out, if it's somebody who you think is going to be very good, you would want to wager more beers.
That's a good strategy.
Because what that means is that every person that your person eliminates, you take that amount of beers out of the pot.
Yeah, that number of money.
The number of
If
dollars.
you wagered 3 beers, you take $3
For
every person.
For every person that your guy has
great.
eliminated. Now,
great.
if you fail to finish your beers by the time your person has been eliminated, you go fully bankrupt.
Yeah, you lose all your money.
And not just for your wrestler. We're talking full Wheel of
you're out.
Fortune, black and white bankrupt, all your shit.
Well,
Wild.
but do you surrender your other 2 wrestler tickets?
You do not surrender any money that you have made.
You lose that.
Right,
lose the
but your
money.
tickets are
you still
church.
have your other-
the
you
tickets
still
are
have your
church
other wrestlers.
because you
Okay.
paid for those tickets.
Yes.
Those are like your card. We like to keep things nice and simple.
Yeah, it's
At the
very,
Boulevard
it's actually
Boulevard.
a very
Obviously.
simple game.
And basically, I really can't stress this enough. I know that the delivery of the rules and the pitch to the actual game was abysmal.
Yeah.
But
It is very fun.
I promise you that this game is the shit. This
It
is
is.
the shit. And we've never had somebody just walking around as the enforcer. And that is something I'm going to forgo the potential money and glory to really just like the glory and joy that I'm going to feel
course.
is watching people play and compete in the game. So I'm going to have nice printed out cards. We're going to have printed out and laminated rules.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have like a nice banquet table. If not, we'll do like, a section.
We'll have a good setup.
And I'm going to
Don't
walk
worry about
around and
that.
I'm going to enforce the rules and I'm going to help to guide and make sure that people are having a fun, enjoyable, potentially financially exciting, and definitely very, very alcoholic time.
All right, dude. Wow. That's unique, right?
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
I'm going to pass.
You and Pat, you're such a.
I got to work
party
the fucking
pooper.
next day.
I actually cleared my schedule the next day
Of course you did.
because I knew I'm going to party. Royal Rumble's my favorite event of all time. I get to party with the Shaw Wrestling and the fans and Outlaw Wrestling. Bull James going to be there.
So you'll party with the Boulevard Bullies, drink them under the table, yet you won't have a drink with me at the fucking spa day last weekend. You're an asshole.
It's called detox.
are an
It's
asshole.
called detox. That's the key word.
Call it what you want, but you're still an asshole.
Hey, dude, that's a key word.
Enjoy
though.
drinking
That's
with your
what
bullies. enjoy drinking with the bullies. Whatever. If you're in a nice
yeah,
spa, relaxing, but you can have a drink with me, go fuck yourself.
Because no one had.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. You have another go home thought?
No, that's all my go home thoughts.
Okay. So that wraps up this week. Mark, another great episode.
Of course, dude. I'm here.
We're now 4 more away from 200, so looking forward to that. I think a month shy now of our yearly anniversary. So big things coming next couple weeks for A Shot of Wrestling.
Absolutely.
So looking forward to that. For
the Hollywood Assassin, Marc Chouen,
Abel and Steve Dumeng, I've been your host at MJ Putty. Until next week, Putty out.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time I need to announce it's last call at the bar.
All right, everybody, we have made it to the end of the episode, and it's last call. We're going to do things a little bit different tonight. We're going to be playing this or that because we have Steven Dumeng still on the line here with us. And now I know a referee is supposed to remain impartial, but today we're going to make you choose sides. Are you ready?
I mean, I will be. Let's do it.
Well, then away we go. Marvel or DC Comics?
You know what? I love Batman, so
there we go.
I'm gonna go with DC.
All right.
I'm a
Michael
big
J. Putty is a
Batman
big DC guy, so I'm sure he'll be happy. Hardcore or deathmatch?
Hardcore death. I'm a big fan of both, but I gotta say, I love being involved with some death matches. Thank God no one's died in any of the matches I've officiated that were considered death match.
Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels?
Brother.
Which
Shawn
side were
Michaels.
you on? All right.
I mean, it's all, you know what? And I got to say, I'm partial to the song, man. I love HBK's theme song, and I literally was just singing it with Masha Slamovich and Joey Ace. It was on Instagram, so if y'all checked out my story at referee Steven Dumeng, or ref Steven Dumeng, I should correct myself, you would have seen it. But yes, good old HBK. Both excellent performance, however.
Shots or beers?
Beers.
iPhone or Android?
Man, I love emulators, but when it comes down to usage, I'm going to go with Apple all day.
Oh, okay.
iPhones, brother.
NXT or AEW?
Woo! Oh, man. Right in the stomach. Let's see. I mean, I would love to work for either. Let's just, just saying, I would work for either company.
Don't worry. Paul and Cody do not listen to the show. They do not listen.
Sounds good. I love both for different reasons, but I would give the slight edge to NXT.
All right. Attitude Era or Today's Era?
Attitude Era. I can't believe I really took me a second to think about that one, but Attitude Era all day. Come on. Oh, hell yeah.
Twitter or Instagram?
Instagram, man. Yeah.
Ponytail or man bun?
Ponytail? Have you seen my hairstyle? Come on. I've never rocked a man bun.
They were in fashion. I don't know.
Ponytail all day. And I actually, it's very cool to have been involved with numerous shows and that not being an issue. And I have cut my hair, and the reason why I do cut my hair is because I donate it to Wigs for Kids.
That's awesome.
Which is a very special thing for me. And for all my long-haired individuals that are out there, please, if you're looking to donate your hair, Wigs for Kids is the spot to go.
NWO black and white or red and black?
Black and white all day.
All day,
life.
every day. And finally, Tessa Blanchard or Maria Manic?
I feel like, I'm going to probably get beat up by either.
I think you could take them.
I believe in myself, don't get me wrong. Pero, that said, I've actually gotten to officiate and work with both of them a lot. I've refereed a lot of Tessa matches, and I've reffed even more Maria Manic matches. But that said, I'm going to have to lean towards Maria because, and I have a reason because me and Maria have shared not only many car rides and miles together, but I've been there pretty much since the inception of her career, all the way to where we are today in Ring of Honor, which has been really cool to see her start from her blonde Barbie bombshell all the way to the man-eater, which is something that is both scary and now makes sense as to why she calls herself Maria Manic. I'm glad it made sense 3 years later, but it finally clicked. And I love her, and see, they all grow up so quick.
They do. You're growing up so quick. We already talked about how crazy and busy your 2019 was. And brother, I just wish you many blessings and many more opportunities in 2020.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. A Shot of Wrestling, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for having me on. And it's always a pleasure to be able to shoot the with people and, enjoy a good old conversation.
Thanks, brother.
I appreciate it, brother.
Hey, baby, I hear the bell ringing, hip tosses and body slams. Oh, my. And maybe you seem a bit confused, yeah, baby, but I got you pinned. Ha, 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 ha. But I don't know what to do when I see them with that golden case. They're cashing it in. Authority all in my face. What is a man to do? Good night, everybody.